Okay, so in accounting, in the real world, most of us are customers. We don't run businesses. So we don't ever have to really answer this question, how much does a product cost? It simply costs what the business says it does, right? Well, let's figure out how it's actually determined. So for example, why might Apple charge $539 for an iPad? So some of the things that might go into that decision could be things like the popularity of the brand. So an Apple iPad or tablet's going to be more than some of the other brands that are less popular. Could estimate how much customers are willing to pay. You've got the desired profit or markup. Maybe the price of competitors. Again, Apple would probably be more expensive than the others. Lastly, how much does it cost to make? So what we want to look at in accounting is, remember, we're not dealing with things like these ones. These are more marketing and management issues which are covered in other subjects. For us, we're primarily going to base how much we sell things for on how much it costs to make. So now that we know that, what we've got to do is figure out, well, what does cost mean? So, for example, let's say in an iPad, we make them in a factory in China and we have the following cost every month for each iPad. Cost of materials for each iPad is $200, so that covers your plastic, your screen, your silicone chips and such. You've got your packaging, $1 per unit. You've got your cartage inwards, so to get it to all the parts delivered to us. You've got customs duty to import them, $3 per unit. You've got the advertising of $400 a month. Rent for the factory is $3,000 a month. And then we've got some buying expenses, which are $2,000 a month. So the question is, how much does each iPad cost to make for Apple? So let's look at some of these costs. Let's say the cartage inwards is a part of the cost. We've got $1 for every iPad is in cartage inwards. Cost of materials, well, that's clearly going to be part of the cost, so we better put that in. We've got the rent, $3,000 per month. Is that a part of the cost of each iPad? Well, I don't really know much about it. How many do I make? Does each iPad take up, how much space in the factory? So I can't really say that rent is part of the cost. So I'm going to leave that out. Got the packaging is $1 per unit. That seems to be a part of the cost. I've then got the advertising, $400 per month. Again, I'm going to have trouble calling that as part of the cost because, does the Apple ad, does it have this iPad in it that I'm selling right now? Or maybe the Apple ads for the brand and it covers the, Apple TV, covers iPods as well, covers smartphones, iPhones. So I can't really logically allocate this advertising. So I'm going to leave that out. I've got buying expenses of $2,000 per month. Is that part of the cost? Well, it kind of is. I need to incur those in order to make it, but I can't really, I don't know how many iPads this is for. How many do I make in a month? So I can't allocate that to each iPad, so I'll leave that out. So what I'll end up with is the customs duty of $3. I'm going to put that in. That seems to be $3 per unit, so that can go in there. So now we can answer our question. What's the cost of each iPad? Well, to us, it's 1 plus 200 plus 1 plus 3. That's $205. So now we can figure out how much to sell it for because we've got a starting point where we know it's got to be at least $205 in order for us to make a profit. So we've got on the left, the costs here were part of the costs. We want to look at why though. Why did I pick those ones? And conversely, we want to look at the ones on the right and go, these were not part of the cost. Why? Why did I leave the rent, the advertising, and the buying expenses out?